Hello again. This is Tina Patton, and today I'm going to be talking about leadership in business. I'm going to be talking more about management of the business that you might have. I don't know if Elizabeth has told you anything about who I am and where I was born and how I was raised, but I was born in South Bend, Indiana, United States of America, and I was born to a family of 12 children. My mother and father were both in the home, and they taught us the virtues of hard work and taught us most of all about our faith. And we learned to love one another in our homes. We learned that God was our source. We learned about all of these things. I was publicly educated in the public school system. And then I went on to go to college and graduated from Indiana University at South Bend and the University of Notre Dame in the United States. And again, being in a family of 12 children, there were some things that I learned and some things that were very helpful and instrumental to me in my business and in learning how to manage people that I was working with. And I talked about this a little bit prior in the first segment. But the first thing I always want to say is don't despise small beginnings. When I first began to work, this was probably about 35 years ago, and I was working at a bank. And I was hired as a temporary person at the bank. And after a while, the bank saw that I had worked in excellence. They saw my professionalism. And they saw the things that I had done. And they hired me on as a full-time person. After that time, I then began to work with a couple of gentlemen who wanted me to help them to start their business. Again, as I talk about the entrepreneurship part of me, I began to help them to start their business. And one of the things that I've always thought about in helping them to start their business was that I was able to do some things that I'd never done before, or do things that I never even had thought possible. And so when you are wanting to start a business or wanting to do some things that are for you unimaginable, I would say just take the leap. You know, sometimes people talk about leaning in, but for women, we have to jump in with both feet, because we have to understand that once we start doing something, we always win. There is a phrase called delayed gratification, and delayed gratification is a person's ability to resist an immediate reward so that they can get more in the future. And sometimes, because we need to have things right now, we need resources right now, we need relationships, and we need to build networks right now. Sometimes we forego the things that we really need in order to make our business more successful in the end. And so that's one thing that I thought about as I began to start my business, and that was I had to take some risks. There were people who told me not to leave the job that I had in order to do the thing that I believed that God was calling for me to do. And we have to be careful when we're speaking with others or when others are speaking with us to make sure that we're not derailed by someone else's impression of what we ought to do, especially when you know that God has already called for you to do something. And so sometimes you have to take a risk, be willing to forego an immediate reward so that you can get something more in the future. Be willing to take a risk. And the risk simply is recognizing that you may sustain some loss, but in the end, your leap of faith will help you become stronger and help you to get the thing that you thought that you never thought that you could have. One other thing I want to talk about when we're talking about leadership in management, leadership in business, and this is very key, that you need to have mentors in your life. You need to have someone that can support you, someone that can speak into your life. And I always pray this prayer that God will give me somebody who has the power, the ability, and the influence to help me. That is my prayer, and that should be your prayer as well. because we can't do everything by ourselves, and sometimes we think we can. But you need someone to help you along the way, to answer questions that you may not even know that you have questions to ask. I'm glad that you are sitting in this class right now, because that is helping you to get some different ideas about some things that maybe you don't know. When I first started in my position, I started at a very low pay scale. And that was, again, because I recognized it was an entrepreneurial adventure. And so therefore, I knew that it was going to take some time for the business to be able to pay for itself, pay for the overhead, pay for the things that would go along with having a business. I have to say that after a while, and I would say it took some years that we had to wait until our business was able to sustain itself, and now it does. But for me, a normal day is very busy and it's very stressful, and probably the same for you. But if you want something good, you have to work for it. And if you want something great, you have to make sure that you have the tools and the resources, the education that you need so that you can have a professional, an excellent product or service that you're trying to deliver. When I try to manage, I think managing people is maybe one of my best qualities or characteristics. And as you are managing, as you are leading, one of the characteristics that I believe that I'm very good at is being a good listener. And a good listener, again, it helps you to know what things you don't know, and it helps you to know how you're to strategize in order to make things better for your business. I'm a great listener, I'm a great organizer, and administrator of things that need to be done. And as a leader, as a manager, you need to be all three of those. You need to be a great listener. Not only a great listener for perhaps your employees, but a great listener for the people that you are providing the service or the products to. You want to make sure that what it is that you are providing is what is actually needed in the market that you are in. You want to be a great organizer and great administrator so that, first of all, you don't burn yourself out, but that things are working methodically so that you can strategically have things in order. Because I am basically good with multitasking, I tend to make things look easy. And so therefore, there are people who ask for me to do a lot of things. And so for you, you have to make sure that that when you say no, it means no. No is a complete sentence. Make sure you don't allow others to pile things on you, especially as you are building your business that you know you cannot do. You're not necessarily able to single-handedly manage your family, manage your home, manage your business, take care of yourself, take care of your spiritual needs all at one time. There has to be a time where you say no, and no means no. That brings me to my next point, and that basically is this: that when you are managing or leading and you have your business plan, and you're ready to get it started with the business, that you need to stay calm under pressure. During these last couple of years, all of us, the entire world, has basically been under siege with the pandemic. We have been sequestered. We have been alone. There are many things that we've had to endure. But even in critical times, we can still make sure that our businesses are successful. And how do we do that? We do that by making sure that we maintain a professional attitude no matter what the situation might be. Being calm under pressure is one thing that you have to be concerned about, because things will happen. Things may go wrong. Things may be twisted upside down and go all around. But even with that going on, you still have to understand that it will work out for your good if you maintain your focus and maintain your calm under pressure. In the situations that I've been in, I've worked in technology a lot, and so we've had issues with attempts, phishing attempts and ransomware attacks and cyber heists and all those kinds of things that really would make you stay up at night. But because, again, I recognize that this is something that I'm doing to help somebody else, I always have to maintain my calm and cool under pressure so that I can stay focused on the task at hand. And as leaders, as managers, you must stay focused on the task at hand. If you are managing and leading others, the one thing that I also say that is helpful in motivating and mobilizing your team is that you are present. You have to be present with your staff, with your employees, with your coworkers, with your family members, with who's ever going to be working with you on your project or your job, so that they can feel the passion that you feel. There's 3 P's I want to talk about really, and that is being passionate, being present, and being professional. And so if you don't remember anything else I've said, you want to have passion, you want to be present, and you want to be professional. I try to make it clear the expectations that I have for others, and for sure, I don't put any expectations on anybody that I won't do for myself. And so I am very good at putting together procedures, outlining things that really hold people accountable to what is being expected for them. But not only that, giving somebody a reward for doing a great job. And an reward doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't even have to be something physical. A reward could be just saying great job to someone. A reward could be just letting them know and letting them know how much you appreciate what they've done. And a reward could be just giving them an opportunity to maybe sit with you, an opportunity to pick your brain. There are people that are right now that are waiting for you to finish this class so that they can get some great information from you. You are a role model in the field that you are in. There are younger girls that are looking up to you, waiting to see what you can teach them. And so a reward would be just an opportunity to sit down with you, to maybe have a glass of water or some tea. But be visible among the people that you work with and among whom work with you. And to make that's really makes you a good leader, is that you are among those that are working with you and making sure that you are very professional. Working well under pressure. Oh yeah, as I said, never ask anybody to do anything that you wouldn't do for yourself. And because, what is it? You have to be willing to serve. And I talked about that in the first segment. Matthew 20:26, Jesus said this. He says, anybody can lead because anybody can serve. But Jesus said, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. And my goal is to help to develop and grow people and to perhaps push them beyond where they can even see themselves. And so even for this program, for this class, I hope that you're being pushed past where you see yourselves. I hope you're being pushed past the thought that you had of what you could do, and being pushed to a different place so that you know that you can do something even greater. And I will say, as I continue for the next few minutes, don't be afraid to admit that you don't know everything, because I recognize that iron sharpens iron. That means don't be afraid to hang around other people who know more than you. Don't be afraid to hang around more people who are more creative than you, or more beautiful, or more handsome than you, because you need to appreciate the things that they are doing, and so you can glean some nuggets to help you get to where they are. You will not leave this class and not take another business class, but you will continue learning and learning from others. So right now you have to understand that you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I am in a continuous state of learning, because the more I can learn, the more I know, and the more I know, the more I can grow. And as part of what we do as leaders, as managers, is give back. We have to be willing to help someone else. So as you learn what you need to learn to start your business, as you learn what you need to learn to take your businesses to the next level, as you learn what you need to learn as far as the distribution of your business, learn what you need to learn as far as the strategy, the business plan you need in order to get your products to market. Whatever you need to do, be willing to give back. Be willing to help somebody else. Not only in the workplace, but sharing your expertise in the community, sharing your expertise among the schools so that children can understand that what they see is what they can be. And as you are yourselves becoming entrepreneurs, or as you yourselves are becoming leaders, and maybe you'll become governmental leaders, maybe you'll become political leaders, maybe you'll become community advocates for something that's happening in the community, make sure you give it back, because there is a need for us to not only to stand up and express our voices, but there is a need for us to be connected and bring others along. Yes, so that others will be able to do the same things that we do. And also, I would like to say, you need to just reimagine. You are sitting here right now and you all have an idea of what it is that you want to do. But put your ideas sometimes to the side and listen to others and think about some of the other gifts that you have. Stir up those gifts that you have. Use your creativity to imagine that you are in the place. What do you really want out of life? What do you really want to achieve? How do you really want to achieve it? You can put yourself in that place and meditate on it. See what it looks like. Walk around in it. Hang around with others who are doing that thing now. And then when you do that, when you reimagine that, you can watch how quickly your dreams and your goals will become a reality, simply because you've imagined it. You've reimagined it. And as you are reimagining that, you have to know that you can be transformative. I talked about that earlier. Business transformation, it just involves making fundamental changes to practices so that you can achieve the organizational goals that you need based on different shifts in the market. It's the process of changing people. It's the process of changing technology. It's the process of changing systems and to improve them. So what is it that you can produce? What can you offer that will improve a process? What can you offer that will make something more efficient? What can you offer, yes, that will make someone's life better, that will allow total effectiveness in the business that you're trying to do? You can prove yourself to be so valuable if you are able to anticipate the needs of others. And all I am saying is, whatever you strive to do, strive to make that thing better. And finally, as I close, I want to say you've got to be able to integrate your faith into all of what it is, what you're doing. No matter if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, if you're wanting to write a book, if you're wanting to bake, if you're wanting to cook, if you're wanting to have a garden, a field where there are crops, whatever it is that you want to do. How do you integrate your faith into that? Jeremiah 29:11, it says, God knows the plans he has for you. And those plans are good plans to bring you to an expected end. He can do far above what you can ask or think. Whatever that is for you, whatever you've been thinking about, think bigger. Meditate on it. And by faith, know that God will get you to the place of success no matter what's going on in your life right now. Whatever you thought before, think about it again, and he can do much greater. Thank you for listening to this segment of Leadership in Management.